morning, Exeter.
Shut up.
All right. I'm Rachel.
I'm Addie.
And I'm Carolyn. And we are the 3 senior captains of the Spring Dance Company. We have 3 performances this weekend, one tonight at 8 o'clock, one tomorrow at 7, and one on Sunday at 1. The theme of our concert is love, and it's the last show in Fisher Theater, so you should definitely come out and support us. Reserve your tickets at peadance.eventbrite.com, and hope to see you all there. Thank you.
I'm Alicia. I'm Paola, and we are here to announce the first ever Dramatomy Awards this Saturday at 2 in Assembly Hall. We'll have a little reception beforehand, black tie optional but encouraged, so we hope to see you all there if you want to come out and see who won.
Hey everyone, my name is Ori. I'm a senior in Woolhouse, and this weekend I'll be showing a short film that I made with Jack Stewart, Mr. Richards, and Bees Denser. It's going to be showing today, Saturday at 6 p.m. before the dance show, and then on Sunday at 6:30, and it's going to be in Agora and Forum, so come out and see some of your friends goof off in front of the camera. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I'm an upper in Lamont.
Hi, I'm Summer. I'm from Merrill. So we're 2 of the co-heads from Steelco Student Life Committee, and we're asking for donations of bike and helmets for our next year bike sharing program.
So if you're a senior or anyone else and you have a bike, just bring it on down to Campus Safety or contact me at G Quinto to let us know so we can get some bikes for next year.
Introduce yourself.
You wanna go?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jaime Romero, Ewald Hall.
Hey guys, I'm Don, 3-year upper in Seoul. Hey Jaime, who's going to be the Estonian of the month?
I don't know. Who could it be?
Matt Kang?
No, he was already Estonian of the month.
What made him Estonian of the month material? Actually, what does it mean to be an Estonian of the month?
It means you're committed to helping people. It means you're showing continuous dedication to a cause, helping whenever possible. For example, participating in ESO events or reaching out to the community. Estonians of the month are vocal participants within the ESO community.
You know who that sounds like?
Who?
Sophia Cho. Everyone, let's congratulate Sophia Cho for getting Estonian of the month. Hey! Where's she at? We're just good?
Yeah,
cool.
Good.
Hi, I'm Mia, and I'm a lower in Merrill. As part of the Asian Advisory Board for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, I would like to recognize Eddie Aikau. Aikau was one of the best surfers in his time, winning the Duke Hanamoku, and he was an exceptional lifeguard at the North Shore. He's most known for swimming out after the Hokulea capsized, and his search was the largest air search sea in Hawaiian history. He was 31 years old.
Good morning.
Hello. We are the current head tour guides, and we're excited to be here today to announce the head guides for the 2018-2019 year.
Touring has been an integral part of our Exeter experiences, and we hope that many of you will join the admissions team next touring season.
All right, first up, we have Ingrid Bergel. Second is Matt Hockey. Third is Toby Abelman. Fourth is Cade Napier.
The fifth is Isadora Crone, and the sixth is Natalie Love.
And then finally we have Christopher Roper. An Ella for Hengel.
Thank you.
Thank you. All done.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth and I'm a Lower in Lamont. I'm one of the organizers of next year's TEDx event. So we will be having a TEDx event on campus. The theme will be generations, and there's an email sent out with a link to a Google Drive form. We hope you all submit. We'll look forward to seeing your submissions. Thank you.
My name is Dhruvan Astane, and I'm an upper in Wentworth Hall. There's currently a book drive being held. Collection boxes are in the common rooms of all dorms and houses, as well as the day student lounge. If you have any books or textbooks you're willing to donate, please place them in the collection box. This is partnering with the NGO Aim for Seva, which builds free student homes across India. So it'd be really helpful if you could help out in that. Thank you.
Good morning, Exeter. My name is Nader Ali Babar, and I'm a 2-year senior in Wentworth Hall. And I'm from Lahore, Pakistan, and I'm a member of the International Student Alliance here. This morning I have the pleasure of introducing to you Mr. Usman Nabi. Usman Nabi grew up in Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and attended Exeter for 2 years, graduating in 1993. He then graduated from Harvard College with a degree in economics, followed by a graduate degree in business from Stanford University. Usman has pursued a career in finance and investing, working at firms including Lazard, Carlyle, Perry Capital, and H Partners. He is currently a board member of the theme park company Six Flags Entertainment and of mattress manufacturers Tempur Sealy. He has been involved in educational nonprofits in his native Pakistan and also helped to start the global nonprofit, or Global Glimpse, which enables high school students in the United States to travel to developing countries. Usman lives in New York City with his wife Lauren and his son Aiden. Please join me in giving Mr. Usman Nabi a warm Exeter welcome home.
Good morning. It's an incredible honor to be back here at the greatest high school in this country. But I have to tell you, when I was invited to come speak to you, the first thing I did was scratch my head. Why me? I looked through a list of the speakers you've had, and compared to them, I'm not the most successful, the most talented. I haven't made some massive contributions to society. So when they asked me to come speak to you guys, I really scratched my head. But after reflecting on it, I think I've been invited here because of how improbable my story is compared to when I arrived in the United States and at Exeter in 1991 as an upper, and the types of setbacks and challenges I've experienced in life and how I overcame those. And I think that's why I've been asked to come here. So what I want to do today in the coming minutes is go through 3 stories from my life since I arrived at Exeter, which are about setback and challenges and how I overcame those. And there's a common thread that runs through each of these stories, which I'll describe after I've gone through the 3 stories. So the setting for my first story is right here at Exeter. I spent 2 years at Exeter from 1991 through 93, and those 2 years were probably the toughest 2 years of my life. Having grown up in Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, I had culture shock when I arrived at Exeter. I didn't know how to relate to American kids, TV shows, humor, cultural references, or even American sports. Very few kids followed the game of cricket, which I loved. I had never even seen snow before coming to Exeter, so I struggled with the brutal New Hampshire winters. And when the track coach asked us to run hills, I asked myself how this was even physically possible. I went from being a star student at my prior school to being middle to bottom of the pack when I first... So, this is me. This is me. I'm grinding it out in Browning House. Yeah. I was painfully shy and I hated the spotlight. And at times, I would find that my heart would be racing and my voice would be shaking when I was in these Harkness discussions. Girls were a big challenge for me. I was really out of sorts in this department, and I have to tell you one little story around this. One night, I was just like this in my dorm room, grinding it out, and someone came up and they said, "There's a girl here to see you," and I said, "What girl?" I don't know any girls. There must be a mistake, and I went downstairs and there was a girl there. And she asked me to the prom. And don't cheer, it's not that good. Because the next thing I said is, and by the way, she had her friend there for moral support standing right behind her. So it added to the drama, but so she asked me to the prom, and I said, of course, sorry, my parents are in town, so I have to have dinner with them that night. So a couple decades later, my wife, Lauren, told me, who grew up in the US, that was a huge no-no. I was supposed to go to prom. So in the midst of these challenges, ranging from academics, culture shock, to girls, something even worse happened. One day, I got a call from Pakistan and learned that my cousin Ahmed had died in a boating accident. I was very close to Ahmed and deeply shaken by his death. At a young age, I had an existential crisis. If life could be so brittle, why was I so far away from family and friends, and what was I doing all of this for? Given all my other struggles and now this death, I was tempted to pack my bags and head back to the comfort of family and friends in Pakistan. But I decided to share my sense of crisis with my English teacher, Fred Tremolo, who took me aside and we talked one-on-one. Mr. Tremolo gave me writing assignments to help me sort through my emotions. And he even encouraged me to take a class on existentialism. And while I didn't find all the answers I was looking for, I was heartened to find some structure to process my thoughts. As I now reflect back on this period at Exeter, something very important happened for me, which wasn't obvious at the time. In the middle of my despair, my exchanges with Mr. Tremolo forced me to reflect more deeply and tap into my own personal motivations and what mattered most to me. In retrospect, I couldn't have had this internal dialogue if I wasn't as isolated as I was here at Exeter, if I didn't experience the death of a loved one, and if I didn't find an incredible sounding board in Mr. Tremolo. All of these elements combined to fundamentally rewire me to think about leading a much more purposeful life. And you can see I ended on a much happier note here at Exeter. This is me in the middle with a couple friends, and we believe we've conquered the Harkness table. My second story relates to my career. When I was 30 years old, I started a hedge fund with a friend of mine, and we had a spectacular start. We were up almost 300% in our first 3 years, and then the 2008 financial crisis hit. Overnight, we went from heroes to villains. Despite this, we made a big investment in the theme park company Six Flags after it got into trouble in the recession. Our belief was that we could revive Six Flags through much better management, and if this happened, our fund could do a lot better. Improbably, I became chairman of the board of Six Flags. I say improbably because I had never been on a board before that, yet my partners and other investors asked me to become chairman and guide a company that had 40,000 employees, 30 million guests per year, and dozens of parks in the US, Mexico, and Canada. And despite having no relevant experience, I was expected to shepherd the company, and I started to feel the same sense of anxiety and foreboding that I had when I arrived here at Exeter. Well, I got a big break one hot summer day when I flew down to Six Flags Texas headquarters, and I did a town hall meeting with 200 of the company's top employees. In that session, I told them who I was, where I came from, and what my colleagues and I wanted to achieve at Exeter. But the most important thing I did is to look these 200 people in the eye and ask for help. Certainly the board and I had some ideas on how to improve the company, but we didn't know how to run a complex theme park business. By avoiding the arrogant command and control attitude of the prior chairman, and by showing some humility, I enlisted the support of many managers who had decades of rich experience at the company. Largely as a result of their leadership and openness to change, Six Flags value has increased dramatically in the past 7 years. Our fund hitched a nice ride on Six Flags' success, my own skills improved, and I now specialize in rebuilding troubled companies by harnessing the power of people. One picture, this is me at one of our Six Flags parks, and you'll wonder what's going on here. I'm in what's called, it's a test seat. Before you can get on the ride, sometimes you have to check if you'll fit in the seats. And because of my fear of heights, this is generally the closest I get to roller coasters. So now on to my third story, and this involves my love life. As you know from my Exeter days, I was very slow out of the gates in this department. But slowly, over many, many years, I started to improve in this area and became more comfortable around girls. But I was very picky, and I was struggling to find the one. My pickiness was due in part to what one of my heroes, Warren Buffett, had said about marriage. Quote, "Associate well, marry up, and hope you find someone who doesn't mind marrying down." So for many years, I was waiting to meet this perfect girl, and then one day, I met Lauren Gillespie, a beautiful law school graduate from Dallas, Texas. Wow, I thought this girl is amazing, and I started courting her. We dated for several months. And I thought this girl really is the one. Not only was she a real beauty, she had great character and values. But then I experienced a big setback when one day Lauren said she didn't think we were a great fit, and she broke it off with me. So I was devastated, and after what felt like an eternal wait, I had finally found the one, and now she didn't want me. Many of my friends told me to move on. You'll find someone else. But when I asked my mother for advice, she put her arms around me and said, "If she's the one for you, don't give up. Go after her, and if she really knows how you feel about her and who you are, she will be with you." So I did exactly that, and I wrote the most important essay of my life. In that essay, I told Lauren why she was so special, and I asked her to give our relationship another chance. Long story short, Lauren did give me another chance, and 2 years later, I married this amazing lady, and she's sitting right over here today. So, thanks to my mom's advice and that letter, today we have an adorable baby boy together. So, as an aside, one thing I'll say is take your English and writing classes really seriously. It really paid off for me. Now, having shared my 3 stories of setback at Exeter, in my career, my love life, I want to pull up and ask a couple of questions. How did I go from showing up in this country 25 years ago, struggling to cope with so many things, to the outcomes I just described to you? Why did I get knocked down and still recover? When I was younger, I probably ascribed it to my own innate resilience. But with the passage of time, the reality has become more clear to me. I don't think resilience is some sort of innate quality. Any success or resilience I've had is primarily due to one thing: mentorship. The common thread that runs through each of the 3 stories I narrated to you is the intervention of key mentors at critical moments in my life. Would I have the same sense of purpose today if Mr. Tremolo had not taken me under his wing? What would have happened to my fund if so many talented executives had not signed on as my advisors at Six Flags? What if my mother had not intervened and urged me not to give up on the perfect girl I had found? For me, the idea of non-sibi or not for oneself can be expressed most powerfully through mentorship. Once you understand how much you benefit from mentors, you can create your own virtuous cycle of mentorship. As younger people, you'll mostly be the beneficiary of mentorship. But even now, you can start to give back. Even if you lack experience, you can mentor someone with something as simple as kindness. There's a saying by the Prophet Muhammad, quote, "Even if you have nothing to give, share a smile," end quote. And something seemingly small like this can lift someone up. At this stage in my life, I'm trying to give back to others what I've been so lucky to receive throughout my life. One example of non-sibi I'm proud of is helping to form and build a nonprofit called Global Glimpse. The concept behind Global Glimpse was to take underprivileged high school students who had never traveled abroad on work-study trips to developing countries. But the biggest impact I made at Global Glimpse was by mentoring new CEO Eliza Pasuit, who was only 26 years old when she became CEO. Just like me at Six Flags, she was overwhelmed by her role. So I would talk to her. Sometimes I had specific advice, sometimes I would just listen and be a sounding board, and sometimes I would just cheer for her. Eliza has flourished as a leader in the past 10 years. Global Glimpse has taken 6,000 students abroad. After seeing a developing country like Nicaragua, the American students have a newfound appreciation for how good they have it here. They come back with greater ambition and a desire to change the world around them. My contribution to these life-changing outcomes is mostly due to my role in unleashing Eliza's leadership potential. But even as I've mentored Eliza, I myself am still very reliant on mentors. In the past couple of months, I parted ways with my partners at my fund that I had helped to build over the past 12 years. This was a difficult decision, and I'm now faced with the challenge and uncertainty of building something again from scratch. As I processed this decision and considered my future, I've tried to channel another great mentor in my life, my grandfather, who shared 2 stories that have always stayed with me. The first story occurred during the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947. My grandfather was thousands of miles offshore as an officer on a British naval ship when he was asked by his British commanders to choose between staying in India or moving to the newly created country Pakistan. This was a decision he had to make alone, out at sea, without consulting any family. He also shared with me a story from the 1970s when he was now Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistan Navy. One day, he was abruptly dismissed from the Navy due to political differences with the Prime Minister, and when they dismissed him, they also canceled his pension, so he was suddenly the breadwinner for a family of 7 with absolutely no income. He went from commanding a fleet of ships and thousands of sailors to working at a shoe factory. And guess what? As daunting as this was, not only did he make it work, he flourished as a businessman in subsequent years. Whenever I'm faced with seemingly impossible decisions or big setbacks, I try to visualize my grandfather mentor, thousands of miles out at sea, choosing his family's destiny, or at his first day at work at a shoe factory. And when I think of this challenge, I have greater perspective and resolve to navigate my own challenges. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to my stories of setback and recovery and the role that mentors have played in my life. But before I wrap up, I want to ask 3 things from all of you. First, I want to encourage you to seek out mentorship by actively asking for help. My key insight is that acquiring mentors may not be a passive thing that just happens to you. In cricket, there's a saying that if a bowler or pitcher constantly throws the ball to the right part of the pitch, then good things can happen for him. I think this is a great metaphor for mentorship. In real life, we can put the ball in the right part of the pitch by actively leaning in to certain people, and this improves our odds of success. By leaning in, I mean reaching out to someone consistently, engaging with them with the right questions, following through on their guidance, and being willing to put yourself out there by sharing your thoughts and challenges. Most people will be flattered by a request for mentorship, and once they help you, they're on your personal team and become invested in your success. You'll become accountable to this great team of mentors, and it'll propel you to fulfill much more of your potential than you can imagine. I'm a case study in this idea. Now here's my second request. Every quarter, I want to encourage you to reach out to at least one classmate that you don't know and ask them if they'll meet you for a meal, lunch, coffee, or dinner. Pick someone who's different than yourself. It could be someone from a different state, culture, religion, race, or country. Or if you're from a big city, reach out to someone from a small rural town. Ask them to share their story and you share yours. At Exeter and through most of my 20s, I gravitated to the familiar, people of Pakistani, South Asian, Middle Eastern, or Muslim heritage. I met great people with these backgrounds, but I now regret that I didn't take advantage of all the diversity at Exeter and even in college. Later in life, I made more of an effort, and I now find it so rewarding to know people of so many different backgrounds and nationalities. I know that you might feel hesitant to make this type of cold call to someone new, and maybe it feels a little uncool or unusual. But this type of engagement with your peers feels really important right now. Society is becoming more stratified, and it's become increasingly common to typecast entire groups of people in simplistic and often inaccurate terms. In my opinion, the best thing we can do right now is to engage each other directly and get the real scoop from people who appear different than ourselves. If we do this, we might find that we drop our own preconceptions and also allow others to get a more nuanced and accurate picture of who we are. Think of yourself as an ambassador for your countrymen, religion, race, or whatever defines you. So when you engage with others, it's so powerful because you're speaking not just for yourself, but potentially thousands of millions of others. That's why I think it's so great if you get a head start now by asking someone different than yourselves to simply join you for a meal. So with that, I have one final request. My parents flew here today, all the way from Lahore, Pakistan, to watch me speak to all of you. They're sitting right over here. And for me, they've been the greatest mentor that any child could have asked for, and I hope you'll join me in a big round of applause to thank them for all their love and support. So I think with that, do we have time for questions or any questions? Go ahead. Thank you. Any other expressions of love? Okay. Well, I'm going to be around having lunch if anyone wants to join. I think that's it.
Mr. Nabi will be in the Latin study for lunch at 12:30, so please join us there. And senior class.